Hello, students. This is your life science teacher, Mr. Pierce, and I am giving you information about interesting adaptations that there are animals on this earth, or at least interesting adaptations that animals on this earth possess. Don't worry, sit back, enjoy the show, and get thinking about interesting adaptations. This will play into an assignment, which I will discuss later. First off, there is the Angora rabbit. The Angora rabbit is a rabbit that lives in an Arctic environment. If you know anything about the Arctic, you should know that it is very cold. They're a rabbit that has been selectively bred to produce long, thick fur. They are very commonly used as pets as well. Their fur is harvested like wool to make, you guessed it, Angora sweaters. Their long fur is intended to help keep them warm. Next up, we have the axolotl. The axolotl is a salamander-like animal which lives in an underground lake near Mexico City. This lake is very large, but is also very shallow. If you ever go spelunking, I recommend you go there. The axolotl, as you notice, has some interesting appendages branching out from around its neck. This is not a mane. This is not to attract mates. They are gills. These gills are used in a low oxygen environment lake, which will allow the organism to obtain more oxygen in where it is located. Axolotl are rare, and they can only be found in this lake near Mexico City. Very interesting adaptation indeed. Next up, we have the ii. The ii are found in Madagascar. They eat insects. And actually, natives to Madagascar used to think that they were evil and would kill them on sight. Now, though it kind of looks like an old man that is balding, the adaptation I really want to bring your attention to are its index fingers. They have a very, very long index finger that they will use to poke into holes and get insects out to eat. Similar to that a woodpecker uses its long bill for, the ii uses its long index finger. Also has interesting adaptations of large ears to help it hear. They're mostly active during the night, hence their wide eye approach as well. Now we have the blobfish. The blobfish is actually a species of fish that live deep, deep, deep within the ocean. Deep in the ocean, there is an increase in pressure. The blobfish lives its entire life deep within the ocean. However, I forgot to mention, it does not have any bones. Sorry. Important information. That's the adaptation to help it survive in the high pressure of the deep ocean. When the blobfish dies, it actually floats up to the top of the surface of the water, which then and there is the only time they have ever been observed. This is obviously a dead blobfish. We do not have any pictures of living blobfish because they go so deep into the ocean. Next up, we have the emperor tamarin. These are found in the rainforest, and they can only see 3 different colors. Their name is the emperor, related to their mustache, as the German emperors once sported. They usually live in families of 3 to 8 individuals. Though in this picture you cannot see it, they have what we would call a prehensile tail. A prehensile tail is a long tail that actually they can hang from and use to pick up objects and stuff. It almost acts as if it is a fifth hand. Next up, you have seen this. They have been known as the unicorn of the sea, the narwhal. The narwhal are actually a mammal, much technically whale is referring to the whale. They're a species of whale that actually have one really, really long tusk. All right. They live in Arctic Ocean or up north where it's very cold and there's a lot of ice. And is actually made from ivory similar to that of elephant tusks. This tusk is not for fighting. It is not for attracting mates. It is actually to help the narwhal break through very thick ice so it can get oxygen. Because it is a mammal, it actually breathes the air. It does not have gills like fish. Next up, the frill-necked lizard. The frill-necked lizard live in desert climates, typically in Australia. And they live in trees and eat insects. The frills on their neck, they will actually shoot out when they feel threatened or scared to try and make themselves bigger to hopefully ward off predators. They have also been known to use their frills to attract mates. Kind of like when Puff puffs herself up. Next up, we have the hagfish. The hagfish is an eel-like fish that has rows of sharp teeth and a slimy body. Early fossils of the hagfish have actually been dated back 550 million years. They have not adapted much since then. An adaptation they possess is they produce a slime to get away from predators. If you can imagine trying to pick up something slimy or grab something slimy in the ocean, you're not going to have a lot of success. It will slip away, much like that bar of soap. Next up, we have the pink fairy armadillo. I'm going to move myself up here so you can see the armadillo's face a little bit better. The pink fairy armadillo is actually a very, very small armadillo. They are approximately 2 to 3 inches in size. They are typically found in Argentina and other places in South America. It is actually an endangered species. The pink fairy armadillo has very large claws used for digging in the sand, and its head is shielded to prevent sand from getting into their eyes. Those are two very helpful adaptations for an animal which may burrow. Following the pink armadillo, we have the proboscis monkey, also sometimes called the proboscis monkey. The proboscis monkey has a very large nose. Only the males of this species are known to have such a large schnoz. The large schnoz is actually not intended for smelling. It is not intended for anything other than to make its voice louder. The decibels actually, as they call out, come out from their mouth as well as their nasal cavity, allowing their calls to echo throughout the rainforest where they live. On the topic of noses, next we have the star-nosed mole. If you have never seen these guys, they are actually indigenous to the United States as well as parts of Canada. Typically, they do not live in Kansas. They typically live in the northeast. Now, their star-nosed shape, they actually have, they can feel with them very much like fingers. All right. The star-nosed mole, like many moles, do not have very good vision, and so they rely on that of feel. Their nose has so many projections off from it, it's almost as if they have a bunch of fingers to help them feel around underneath the ground and find food. If you will also notice, they do have very large claws intended to help them dig. Off from our topic of noses, we are going to go to the sucker-footed bat. The sucker-footed bat is actually a small bat found in Madagascar. They're about 2 to 3 inches total in length. And they have very, very large ears, like most bats, to help them with echolocation and flying at night. Aside from their large ears and their small size, the sucker-footed bat actually has what look like suction cups where their thumbs are on their wings. These suction cups actually act just like a suction cup would, and they help them grasp and climb on flat surfaces. After the sucker-footed bat, we have the tarsier. Interesting and scary animal as this may be, they are found in the Philippines, and they are the smallest of the primates. Smallest primates in the world. They are about 3.5 to 6.5 inches in length of size. Very, very distinct characteristics of the tarsier. They have very, very large eyes as well as very, very large ears. They are a nocturnal primate, meaning they are active during the night. And you can imagine such large eyes and such large ears are intended to help them see and hear in the dead of night. Their ears can actually swivel 180 degrees in direction, so they can hear from just about all angles. Finally, last on our list, we have the Yeti crab. The Yeti crab species actually was not discovered until 2005. It was discovered by scientists on a mission in the deep Pacific. Though you may think the Yeti crab's hairy-like arms are intended to keep it warm, that is actually not what it is for. It is intended to help them catch food. Not only are their arms very, very long, but all of those little hair-like projections coming off their arms help them feel around in the dark ocean depths. They will also use those hairy arms, and they will take them and put them over thermal vents and help catch any thermophiles, archaeobacteria, catch any thermophiles coming out of the vents in the ocean that they can eat. Sorry, I was just reading. So, you have read all about these interesting adaptations that animals can possess. We have already discussed in class that animals can change over time. We're going to apply some of these interesting adaptations to your own creative inhibitions in my next video. This is Mr. Pierce reporting from room 205. Please watch the next video. Goodbye.